Well, we got a little bit of a game plan for this morning now. Up nice and early. You got to see that beautiful sunrise. Wow, that was beautiful. Puppies made it out. The coffee has been started. These two guys are off to the dog park. Em's gonna come get them. And yes, you know what those golden things are. Those are the straw bales, and we are gonna get those into the garden. Anyways, Em's off to the dog park. She's gonna come get these guys. And I'm gonna finish that last little section of weeds, and when we come back, coffee will be ready, and yeah, we'll have our morning coffee. I'll look forward to it. Well, that's a good feeling. The last of the spring weeds are all out of the garden. Here's Jax, the garden dog. Oh, good boy. All right, wanted to show you two quick little things. You know, I don't know the names of all my weeds. I don't really care to know. But if you look right up at the top of this, kind of little heart-shaped, that is the seed pod developing on this. And it is about to drop seeds, so that's why you get them all out of there. Here is another little flat one. If you look at the very ends, those are the seeds about ready to drop. So success. We got all of the spring weeding done. We won't have, this is, I'm not gonna say the first time in a long time, because it is the first time in a long time that we started a spring in the garden without any of the new weed seeds joining. You know, that's one of the big things I keep talking about, is if you bring down the seed bank in your soil, you have less weeding to do. Speaking of less weeding, Joel would say get out of the dirt and get into the bales. We're going to be working on the bales, so we're heading over there now to do a little bale work. We started the morning out at 36 degrees. It's gonna be just shy of 60 today. So a nice early May day here in Minnesota. Hadn't turned the water on yet. Rhubarb that we transplanted before needed a little drink, and I also need to get water ready for the straw bales. So it was time to turn on the water. Went over and turned it on in the house, closed up all the spigots, and of course I forgot the one in the front yard. So I'm like, oh, there's no pressure, there's no water. Why am I not getting that? No, I don't have a break. I just forgot to close the valve on the front zone of the house. So closed that up and fired it up, and it was really nice to start out the spring without having to do a water repair. If you remember last year, we had to do a repair right there on the water line, but this year it's all golden, mainly because we did a really good blowout in the fall. When you're doing straw bale gardening, you don't have to heat your water, but it's best to use ambient air temperature water. So filled up a couple 5-gallon pails, and that'll just start to come up to air temperature before we put it on the bales. Some of the joys of filming Sometimes you forget to hit the record button, so not that big of a deal, because you saw me put all the bales in place. And then what I did to start the conditioning, day one, using Bale Buster, and it's an organic, all organic fertilizer that you water into the bales, and that starts the conditioning. 13 days to condition the bales before you can plant in them. That's why I wanted to get them all in. We'll be doing a video at some point going over all of the things that I learned from last year's straw bale garden and that I'm going to start working on this year. But the most important thing is to get your bales conditioned as early as you can, as early as able to. So what I did is sprinkled on 3 cups of the organic, kind of wiggled it a little bit to get it down in, meaning settled down into the bales. When they're dry, it just kind of settles right in. And those pails of water that I filled up earlier, they were kind of air temperature now, and I just put they say saturate the first time, but I put about 1.5 gallons on each bale, and that just slowly pulled that fertilizer in, so these bales are all conditioned. It is time to head down to the greenhouse. Probably gonna call it for this video, heading down to the greenhouse, pick up a few things. Maybe when we get back from Mother's Day stuff, we will get a few things in the garden. If not, thanks so much for watching. We'll pick it up next week. Think of planting, I've mentioned this before in other videos, planting is not all in one day because you don't want everything to be harvested in one day. So 13 days of conditioning, we're talking 2 weeks from now, I'll probably plant in these bales. But in the meantime, I'm gonna be planting a few things here and there and spreading out the planting of the vegetables over the next 3 weeks, maybe even 4 weeks while we're putting things in the garden. Flowers, we'll do the same thing. We'll just kind of start filling it all up. But that's been it. Glenn, at home in the gardens. Questions, if you have any questions on what we're doing, go ahead and leave a comment down below. Ask a question. If I don't know it, I'll try to figure it out, and usually know somebody who knows it. And make sure you get out and start gardening. Remember to plant some flowers because they are food for your soul. That's it. We're gonna clean things up and head to the greenhouse. See you later. Enjoy.